Here's the thing though, these are normal desires, aren't they? Sexual desire is not a bad desire. The desire to be great is not a bad desire. It's not wrong to have things, but here's what the world does. The world takes these legitimate desires and it offers to satisfy these legitimate desires in illegitimate ways. And it hooks us. And it says in advertising and in our social spheres and all of the pressures and exerting powers that we feel, I need pleasure, I need to have, I need to be. And the world comes along and says, oh, you need to feel pleasure, you need to have, you need to be, here's how to do it. And it offers to satisfy those legitimate needs in illegitimate ways. I thought of just a few. Lust of the flesh. An illegitimate way that the world meets the need of the passion to feel is in the area of sexuality. This is probably the clearest area. God designed sex in order to be a covenantal commitment apparatus. That's not very good language to talk about sex, is it? But it's a commitment. It's a renewal of your commitment ceremony that you use to experience pleasure with a person to whom you've committed yourself fully. And here's what the world does. The world takes that beautiful gift that God created for covenantal marriage. He takes it out, and the world says, let's buy it and sell it like a commodity. And we buy and sell sex like we buy and sell chips and salsa. It's everywhere. The world offers to satisfy our passion to feel, not with a spouse in the context of marriage, but with pornography. Man, the statistics are staggering how many men are watching porn. Hardcore porn, softcore porn, Men's Health magazine, on the treadmill, porn, softcore porn. It's everywhere. And it's not just for the men, it's also for the ladies, right? I mean, I've never read the book 50 Shades of Grey, but I was watching a movie the other day and I saw the preview. I had to cover my eyes. I was with Audra. I had to cover my eyes. It's terrible. Not saying I wouldn't if I wasn't with Audra, not saying that. Softcore porn. What does the world say? You need to satisfy your passion to feel. Here's the way to do it. Have sex. Have it outside of marriage. Have it whenever you want. It's a legitimate desire. I'm not saying sex is a bad desire, but the world offers to satisfy it in an illegitimate way. Same thing, passion to have. The lust of the eyes. There's nothing wrong with having stuff. Nothing wrong with owning a boat. Nothing wrong with owning a house with more than 2,000 square feet. Nothing wrong with any of those things, but here's what the world says. You got to have bigger, you got to have more, and you got to have it so that you can somehow be worthy, so that you can somehow be accepted. And so if you don't have those things, if you don't have the latest clothes, and if you don't get your clothes somewhere besides JCPenney, if you don't get it somewhere nice, then you're not valued. And the world offers to satisfy this legitimate need to have, but it twists it just enough so that it turns you into a shopaholic. Or it'll twist it just enough so that it turns you into a workaholic. And workaholics marry shopaholics, and it just goes work, shop, work. And they marry one another, and you're miserable. Why? Because you're conformed to the world. You're conformed. This lust of the eyes accounts for the massive amount of dumb debt that so many people my age have. Credit card debt through the roof, $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 on another one, $40,000 on this one, $10,000 on that one. I was listening to Dave Ramsey the other day. I heard a story about a guy who spent $1,000. He borrowed $1,000. He financed his dog. His dog. What is that? That's a lot of things, but it's at least lust of the eyes, right? What is that? You're conformed. Conformed to worldliness. And the world says, I can satisfy that need, but here's how I'm going to do it. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. The pride of life. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like so that we can feel significant. Nothing wrong with the desire to be great. I want to be great. What the pride of life does is it takes that normal, healthy desire and it shifts it just enough so that you become the point. It's all about me. Life's about me. I'm the center of the universe. This craving for power. You know what's wrong with Washington, D.C.? There's a lot of things wrong with Washington, D.C., but it's at least this pride of life. This, once I get the power, I've got to use the power. I've got to be the point. It's got to be about me. And it's a legitimate desire. I'm not saying that's bad to want to feel great, but this pride of life causes you to lie, cheat, steal, backstab, bribe, do almost anything so that you can gain a position of influence and power and popularity. And I think we start out noble. I don't think we go with bad intentions. I think we start out, we love our job, and we start out, and hey, it's for our kids, and we needed to do this ministry, but all of a sudden, over time, we wake up with this realization, I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't know how I got here, and now I feel like my kids are trapped. I've spent my whole life pursuing lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, pride of life, and I've created systems and traditions so that my kids are trapped into the same kind of slavery, and I hate it. What is that? You're conformed to the world. It's not just Rome. It's not just temples. It's today. And every single one of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, are being conformed. There are pressures on every single one of us. It's in our advertisements. It's on our televisions. It's in our social settings. It's on social media. We're getting squeezed. And Paul is saying, stop being conformed.